Iman Gadzhi's most recent documentary generated 1 million views in a single day, and while many speculate how he went viral, something is certain: his videos are an editing masterpiece, and this is how he made them. To create a great video or even a documentary, you need an engaging script. Now, this can be tricky, so you can either find a writer or write it by yourself. Plan out what the scenes will look like. This involves how you are going to place the camera and which angles to capture. In Iman's case, he uses 2 angles, which he combines every 3 or 4 seconds to keep you, the viewer, watching. To explain the more complex concepts, he uses a technique called motion graphics. This leads us to the second step. Motion graphics is a technique that involves combining multiple pictures and turning them into one compelling story. I'm going to download the images from Envato and import them in Photoshop. To create characters like Iman, first separate them on each layer using the lasso tool. Then create a clipping mask with a rectangle with a black fill color. Repeat this for each character. Then copy each layer and place them below the main layers. Change the color to white. Finally, you can combine the clipping mask and main layer into one smart object. This will help you later when we import them in After Effects. Then import the rest of the elements and make them transparent by removing the background using the subject feature in Photoshop. As an alternative to Photoshop, you can use remove.bg. Finally, you're going to save the Photoshop file, which we will later import in After Effects. Inside Premiere Pro, you'll organize where you'll have motion graphics and recorded videos. Next, select a part where you want to create motion graphics and connect it to After Effects. After you import your Photoshop file, create a composition for each layer, and inside those compositions, you're going to make texture animation. I use this metal texture that I found on Envato. Go to transformations and next to the position by holding Alt-click on the stopwatch icon. This will open the expression feature where you're going to use the wiggle effect. When it comes to characters, between the black and white layer, you're going to add also texture. It doesn't need to be metallic, it can be vintage or grungy. The technique is the same. Go to position, create expression, and use wiggle values to create a suitable animation. Next, go to your main composition and for each composition create a moving effect. So first, find a position effect and create an expression. Here, the best result I got are wiggle 5 and 5, and for posterized time, 5 frames. This will create a similar animation compared to Iman's. Now, above the expression, you're going to set the first and last keyframe for position. The last keyframe will hold the final position we want to achieve, while the first can be outside of our frame. You can also add texture to the tables using the same technique we covered earlier. Finally, add expression to rotation the same as we did previously. To recreate Iman's scene, we need to create a null object. Then, by using the whip tool, you can connect each layer you want to move to the null object. Then simply animate a null object. Next, create a circle and add a beginning and end keyframe for opacity. You can also pre-compose it to add a texture animation. Finally, you can add drop shadow and even some glow if you want to. Now comes one of the most important parts, and that is finding the best font. Because Iman uses some sort of vintage font on Envato, I'm going to search for a typewriter font. Enigma typewriter seems like the best option. If you want to check out Envato, the link is in the description. First, install it, and then by using the type tool, create a type box. You can animate it by creating a keyframe for each word using the source feature. You can also add minor adjustments to the position. Finally, we can animate the background. Reduce the scale of the background image and create a rectangle. Then use the eyedropper tool to find the best color. Create an oval mask and then add a mask feature. To finish it off, add rotation expression and you have a video like Iman.